Go, folks, ladies and gentlemen, on a Friday. Here we go, episode 131 with Chris Egan here on pucksports.com, brought to you by Fat Zach's Pizza. Visit three of their locations. They got one in Sumner, downtown Puyallup, South Hill, home of the original Big Dill Pickle Pizza. You can book three of their food trucks for catering, birthdays, parties, graduations, corporate events, weddings. Voted best of the Sound 2 years in a row for best pizza. Find them on Facebook and Instagram. Also, fatzachspizza.com. How are you doing, sir, on this Friday?
Well, I'm doing great. The sun is out. The Mariners take 3 out of 4, from the Houston Astros. We've got a new Kraken coach, the Edmonton Riverhawks, which Austin Egan will be playing for this year. They're going to open up the season against the Bellingham Bells tonight. I mean, there's so much goodness in the air right now, Puck. But let's begin with, you mentioned the one word there, wedding. And I'm sure Fat Zach's does an awesome wedding. I'm sure the food trucks are great. But raise your hand out there. Raise your hand if you're listening, if you're watching, if you really recall, when you look back at the last 10 years, the dinner that you had at your wedding. I mean, Puck, think about all the weddings you've gone to. Do you remember like a great wedding dinner?
No,
you don't.
All I ever remember is how heavy was the pour for the wine and how much wine. I'm with you. The food should be comfort food.
Well, here it is. I'm researching this. This is 100 years of a big scam. I mean, these poor couples are paying.
It's the wedding big lie.
It's $50 to $60 a head. And so you want to, you want to invite all your friends and family, but now you're fighting over who comes to the wedding because you're paying so much. And I'm sitting down, $3.30, by the way, $3.30. That's $3.30 with tax is what it costs for 2 hot dogs and 2 Cokes at Costco. And I'm sitting there with my daughter as we're thinking about this wedding, and I'm thinking, this is the answer.
Yeah.
Why don't we serve Costco hot dogs at the wedding? I mean, come on.
How did that go over?
Well, I think she thought I was joking. Then the more I start thinking about it, I'm thinking, how cool would this be at a wedding? You come in and you have a bunch of like old people, and they can be relatives. You just have some of the aunts and uncles that look old, doing like a free sample area as you're coming in. Like you can get a couple
with the vest on, and then the plastic.
Yeah.
Loose-fitting gloves.
And these are the aunts and uncles that you weren't even going to invite to the wedding anyway, but now you're putting them to work. You haven't seen them forever, but you're like, hey, we're going to invite you to the wedding, but you just got to hand out some free, beanie weenies. And so then you got the free samples, so that's kind of cool. Then you've got the fountain drinks, which come with the hot dog. Everybody just brings their own little condiment pack.
Well, time out. Everyone can bring, and I would advise this, my younger days at a wedding, everyone is allowed to bring their own condom. Continue, Chris.
Oh, I started cramping up in my ribs right there on that one. So I did, and here's my thought on dessert.
Anybody else bring a condom? I'm looking for an extra condom.
Here's my thoughts on dessert, Puck. How often? Let's ask this question again. How often do you remember the dessert, the cakes?
I do. Now,
okay.
The dessert to me is always the best thing about the wedding.
Okay, but I'm going to throw this at you.
No,
for the couple, you just go with a fancy cake. You get one small cake. You don't buy a $500 cake. You spend maybe like $50 on a nice little cake.
What do you want, like a QFC
ice
cream cake?
No. Well, if they want a fancy one to cut, and take pictures on and do the big,
it is their day, Chris.
It's their day. So that's fine. Get them their little cake for those two. But for everybody else, for Jason Puckett and for myself in the back, you have 3 sheet cakes of the Costco cakes. Who doesn't love the Costco cake?
You got to be real clear how you say 3 sheet cakes. Because that does come across as real quick 3 shit cakes. What do you want?
There's a lot of things in this podcast already.
You've already gone with sheet cakes and condoms. So you're doing well.
Who doesn't like a great Costco cake, though? I mean, you get it.
I love everything that they do, but it's you can't. It's not a potluck, Chris.
Yeah,
The
well,
wedding, but I agree with you. I think we do overthink it with the wedding food.
and
Like, how about a barbecue?
yeah,
I mean, just
I'll
I
be
think
on the
pizza's
grill.
a great idea. Here's the thing about weddings: no
Yeah.
one eats. No one eats.
They don't really eat. They drink.
They drink heavily,
Yeah.
and no one eats because. And then what does everyone do after a wedding? After they've been done, they go eat. They go to like some fast food place because they didn't eat. So yeah, you'll waste so much money on the food. And let's be honest, for the most part, it's terrible. I've gone to really only one wedding I can remember where the food was unreal. Like
One wedding. That's one wedding you remember.
My buddy Darren Robb went to college with had a wedding, and it was like this. It was this whole Asian theme, and he just had, I mean, the best food. I mean, like crab legs and just everything.
Well, that's another level.
Like
that's another level there.
There was like dim sum there. It just was, the whole thing was unreal.
That's another level.
That's the only one I can remember. I'll be honest, I don't even know what we served at our wedding.
I'm not even sure. Yeah,
I know the signature cocktail. I know all that.
I think you do. What are your thoughts of the signature cocktail? Because I think that's a great idea. You're 50-50 on that one?
No, I love the signature cocktail.
Okay.
Yeah, I think if there's not an open bar at this thing,
then it's a dud, right?
You can't. No one wants to go to a wedding without an open bar. How many days are we away from the Egan wedding?
I think we're about 86 days away, Puckett. 86 days away.
This is like Dynasty. We should have the Dynasty theme music.
8 as we get ready for So okay, so I just thought hey, this would be a great way to. Nobody really remembers dinner anyway, and just put that extra money on the drinks.
I'm kind of with you here now. If you did do the Costco hot dog idea, and Chris is drinking a highball at 11:25 in the morning. Jesus, man. Much they just driving you to drinks that early in the morning, huh? 5.
It's been a long week, Puck.
I bet it has been. It really has been a long week, even though we had it was a short week, but it feels
well. Monday and Tuesday with the news of the Kraken, I had to do on Tuesday. I did 14 hits on King 5, and on Monday I did 13 hits. Then you throw in the Mariners and the Sounders and everything else going on there.
Hey, Chris, can we get you back up there about 4:30 a.m.? Mimi and Jake are thinking of maybe a live shot.
The question was asked if I would hang around for the morning show after doing 14 hits, and I said, Chris is gonna go to bed. Chris needs to go bye-bye night. Chris needs a little bedtime.
So,
but exciting
I
stuff.
Go back to the Costco hot dog idea because I don't hate it.
Yeah. I mean, you remember it, right? The Egan wedding, they had Costco hot dogs.
Served Costco hot dogs.
But they had cocktail signatures.
I think it'd be great. Would you have like the actual the hot dog truck or the little stand there?
I think you'd have to, and
the old people serve.
Yeah, you know what I would bring back to Puck? I'd put a little extra money into it. I would get the chopped onions and sauerkraut. I would pay extra for the sauerkraut and chopped onions. I love that little chopped onion thing that you used to just put right on your hot dog.
God, you make me want to go to Costco now. I really do. I mean, I want to go there right now to go get that thing.
Oh,
so good.
$1.50.
Yeah. It's too much. We spend and generally for the most part, right? And you touched on wedding food is not good.
No.
It's hard to make that much food for a huge amount of people and have it actually taste good.
The only disaster here I could see is the wedding dress. There's only one issue
and
here.
Ketchup all over the
mustard on the wedding dress would not go well. I can see that would just not. I could just see my wife staring me down like this was your idea. She has she has mustard all over her wedding dress.
Yeah.
Do we
have an idea of what we're serving? Do we have a menu?
It looks to me, Puck, like they want to go. And I say, anytime from here on out on pucksports.com, we're talking wedding, and I say they, it's a reference to my wife and daughter. So that's they.
But that's the way it should be. You shouldn't have a say in this.
I don't have a say.
Only say that you should have is when you have to open up the wallet.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how it's going right now. I think they want to go with a little Italian. A little 3 pasta. Yeah, pastas. Here's my question though, Puck. on the
That's
price.
very filling. That's kind of filling.
It's pasta, but you get an offer the same price. You can go with either lasagna or chicken parmesan. So what you're doing is you're getting a bread, you're getting a pasta with 3 different sauces, you're getting great little salad, but then you got to go chicken parm or lasagna.
This is where Costco comes back into play because that lasagna, that 10 foil lasagna thing is pretty good.
It's not bad, is it? My wife thinks the chicken parm because you should provide a protein.
Again, no, Melanie, no one is going to eat. No one. First of all, the 3 months leading up to it, no one's going to eat because they all want to get into wedding shape.
Yeah, everybody's going to.
Then you're there, and it's just cocktails flow. The wine, it's a bottomless pour of wine. No one's eating. No one ever eats.
Just the older people. And I'm not even.
Older people.
Yeah, I think the older people would be eating. But
then your speech. Oh God, I can't wait to hear your speech.
Yeah, how long are the speeches supposed to be? Just pretty short.
Not as long, hopefully, as Sue Bird's retirement speech. Or not the retirement.
Well,
was it the retirement one?
Her retirement speech, yeah. Her retirement speech.
And by the way, it's still going.
Yeah, Sue Bird is still addressing the crowd at Climate Plus.
Excuse me? Sue is still on the stage. Do we want to get her off? No, let's just let her go into the next season.
You know who I felt bad for that night with the Sue Bird retirement speech was anybody she didn't thank.
She went 45 minutes and didn't thank us.
She pretty much thanked everybody.
I once served her coffee. She didn't thank me.
How long? I don't know.
I would think just 5 minutes, right? Solid 5 minutes, maybe.
Yeah, because 5 minutes is long.
Yeah, and people want to drink and they want to go dance. So
they want to drink and they don't want to eat and they want to dance.
Yeah.
And are we gonna? Do we go embarrassing? Do we embarrass her, or is it just like my daughter, the oldest?
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't know yet. I haven't got to that point yet. So
because I would treat it like a roast.
I'm
going to roast my daughter in front of everyone, and the groom.
Oh man!
You like the guy?
He's a very good guy. Okay. He's a very good guy.
You kind of have to say that, right?
No,
if you came on here and said, Puck, I don't know. She could have done better.
He's a very good guy. He plays basketball for Point Loma, so I can't. Good kid, good family. He's got incredible family around him. So,
could you even? I mean, if they serve pasta, are you going to be able to even eat the pasta? Are you?
At that point, Puck.
Does this? Are you on some special diet now?
Great question, Puck. Thanks for noticing. It looks like I've lost a few pounds. I appreciate that. Thank you, Puck.
All I'm seeing is your head. Oh, are you wearing an Olympic jacket?
We haven't even mentioned the Olympics yet.
Wow.
I am trying. Here it is, Puck. My biggest, let's just say, my biggest weakness is fast food and sugars. Okay, those and maybe a little alcohol. So fast food, sugars, and alcohol. So I said, here's what we're gonna do. We got the Olympics coming up. I've got the Eiffel Tower behind me, and the camera's gonna be shooting from underneath me. So I've got to drop the chin weight, and then right after the Olympics, we've got the wedding. Hundreds of pictures. So I'm like, okay, it's time for a little discipline. So the wife, besides listening to pucksports.com, the wife's got me on all these, podcasts, and I'm just trying to get some weightlifting in 3 times a week. But for me, it's what you put in your body. So I've shut down, Puck. I'm sorry I can't even talk about burger places anymore because I've shut down fast food until after the wedding. And here's what I'm also going to do. I'm going to set my yearly doctor's appointment up right before the wedding. So I'm looking at my back.
So you go in peak physical shape. Oh, Chris, you look really good. Well, I've, decided to put in some time and some effort.
Haven't ate. And Puck, I'm going to tell you. So I've tried to drop sweets, fast food. I'm still having a beer at night. This was the hardest day. And it's all about discipline. And I'm like, okay, come on. I coach. I ask these kids for all this. I can have some discipline for 3 months. Somebody, though, and I've said it before on this podcast, my favorite maple bar is a Chuck's Maple Bar. Mm-hmm. Talk about when you start doing these things where you start lowering your carbs, you just things start appearing in front of you a lot more often. Somebody brought in a dozen Chuck's Maple Bar donuts and literally put them on my desk. And I'm like, what in the...
This is at work?
This is at work. I'm like, what is going on here?
Do they know what you're up to?
No, nobody, they were just being nice. And I'm like, oh, God. I mean, this is for me. So I said, hey, who wants a Chuck's donut?
Got some Chuck's donuts.
Luckily, in the newsroom, everybody comes running, and I was able to get out of there.
Well,
all right.
As you know, and as our listeners know, no one likes free food more than people in the media.
Oh, they will. Here's a tip for anybody that's in public relations. If you want media at your event, throw in some type of charcuterie board, or, burgers, just anything. You can put chips and dip out.
Go back to the go back to the wedding here. A shark. How about just a big long? Actually, now that I recall this is what at our wedding, and this was my favorite part. We had a huge, just like charcuterie, like spread, and I think I ate more of that than anything.
Just a gigantic charcuterie board in the middle of the wedding.
Yes.
That's not a bad idea.
That's not a bad idea.
With a lot of
Fill
just
up on cheeses and some crackers,
cheeses,
and grapes.
Throw in some of the beef. And I'll tell you, Puck,
beef jerkies and oh boy, Alberto.
I've been going, Puck. I've been eliminating, and see, this is where I'm like, God, is this really healthy? I'm eliminating fast food, but I'm now going to like meat markets. I can get
all
a pound.
You're doing is eating meat.
Can I get a pound of that beef jerky there?
Like,
how is that healthy? How is that healthy?
No. I have no idea. What everything is you drop this, you drop that. I mean, who knows?
But I will tell you, I think what I've been hearing and everybody's telling me, once you get over 50, you can't go wrong with trying to get weightlifting into your
weightlifting
program.
Okay.
So I'm doing bench press twice a week.
Okay.
And my cocky son, Austin, I literally had the bar and the 25s going on, and he walks through the garage. This is before he headed up to Edmonton. He goes, hey, Dad, look at, looks like Maddie's lifting or something. I go, what do you mean? She's only got the 25s on. And I go, and I couldn't even say anything. He's like,
that Maddie, what a weakling.
Can't believe Maddie's only got the 25s on, son. You and I do the 45s.
Yeah, what's the bar? The bar weighs what?
The bar's 45.
So 25. So I can't do math.
That's 95.
You're benching 95?
Well, I mean, a lot of reps, though. A lot of reps.
How many reps? How many reps?
I'm doing, about 20 reps, 4 sets of 20. It's just you start feeling it at the end.
I'm not going to laugh because I probably couldn't do it.
Puck, I'm not joking. This is how bad I am. I'm in there. I do bench press one day, and I do, curls, bis, and tries one day.
You have a home gym?
Well, I mean, when COVID hit, we got some stuff for the kids so they could have some things in the garage. But I'm literally
whatever, Marinovich. Jesus.
I found my shake weight, and I had the shake weight going, and I'm like, and I was sweating after 10 minutes of the shake weight, and I'm like, this is really a good workout. So I'm doing everything I can, Puck.
That's what when we do in our baseball warm-ups, and I have the kids run around, and they have to do this. I say, all right, shake weight. And they're like, what is a shake weight? I'm like, just pretend like you're shaking weights as you're running around.
Oh, the shake weight. I mean, some of the tummy tuck, the shake weight.
What was the Suzanne Summers one?
Thigh Master? Thigh Master, where you just do your thighs like that.
The infomercial was soft corn pornography.
It really was. And then you had...
She's in a swimsuit, and she's just like, open for business, close for business, open for business, close for business. I mean,
the Thigh Master, the shake weight. What was the thing, the wrist thing that people used to have like in the 80s? Like over the top?
Just the hand thing, the grip.
The grip thing, yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Or what was the one that helped you do sit-ups, remember? You'd have the bar.
Oh, and that you would do with it. Yeah, yes.
And it made it like really easy to do it. You're like, God, I'm really getting this great core workout.
And then the big 10-minute abs. I mean, that was big. The VHS machine.
3-minute abs, 2-minute abs.
Yeah.
3 minutes, 2 minutes.
God. So I'm doing my part. We'll see. When I get to
getting in shape.
When I get to Paris, it could be game over. I mean, because it's the NBC food bar is endless there. But
but you you're trying to cut carbs and you're going to a city with the home of the French baguette.
All they serve is bread with everything. That's what I'm like. How am I going to do this? But we'll see.
I love it. You're going to be fine. You're going to be great.
Yeah, we'll keep it going. It's all about discipline. All about discipline.
Yes. Can you believe your hometown? You, Mr. Positive Hometown 9 over here. Okay, they take 3 out of 4 from Houston, and they scored 9 runs.
Yeah.
Struck out 46 times. How were they winning games?
Well, and you can start seeing, Buck, too, that they're bringing some players into Tacoma now. Locklear just got called up to Tacoma, so obviously they're looking for bats somewhere right now. I think just the tough one for me is, and this is a great quality guy. It's just so hard to see him struggling as Garver. I mean, what did they spend $22 million on him?
Something like that, yeah.
Well, I think honestly it was one of Jerry DiPoto's biggest offseason.
I think it was his big. It's 2 years, $24 million.
I think it's his biggest move he's ever made for an offensive player.
Yeah.
And it's just like, God, it can just nothing this organization ever does as far as going for offense work. It just and everything on paper, I think, Puck, if you look at it, it looks like a decent move. I think there was a lot of excitement about this, bringing him in, and and I know, but we're past the. Yes, there's a lot of seasons still to be played, but it's time to start hitting. I mean, this is ridiculous.
They are just taking. They're playing with such house money right now.
Yeah.
I mean, they've built up this equity with wins, but if you look at them offensively, I mean, they're trending worse than they were a year ago, like almost significantly in some areas. And, they rank almost dead last in almost every offensive category. And and they were like that last year. And you're like, okay, what are we going to do? Actually, they weren't even like that last year. I mean, towards the end, but like, what are we going to do to kind of fix this? And then, they go the cheap. This is what happens when you go on the cheap to fix this problem. And they did that. So I don't have anybody to feel sorry for themselves because the ownership did this to themselves. And so if they want to be mad at them, they can be mad at themselves. But it is amazing. And it's a testament to how good their pitching is for the most part, that they are 4 games over 500 and still have a 3-game lead in the West.
Well, no, and you said it. And when we talk pitching, everybody loves to talk about their starting pitching. And I think the group that actually got them the 3 wins was their bullpen was absolutely amazing. I mean, when you're coming out of that road trip, I mean, if anybody wasn't concerned about Trent Thornton or Gabe Spire, you're like, oh God, these guys. And those 2 guys stepped up. Saucedo, Munoz. I mean, everybody that worked out of that bullpen this past week was phenomenal, and they're a big reason they got 3 out of the 4 wins. I'm still nervous on that. Yeah, I mean, something has to happen with the offense. The starting pitching, in my mind, you're set, you're good, you're locked in. The bullpen, to me, I'm still a little nervous there. With no Brash, with no Santos, those are 2 key figures, and I'm just not confident in that group. But they're proving me wrong every time they go out there. At least they're doing it at home. They're proving me wrong.
I mean, they do it every night. They find these weird ways to win games. I've described them as just they're maddening. They're flawed. At the end, though, they do find weird ways to pull out victories. I guess it's just like, how long does that last?
Yeah,
because there's an element of luck to it. You've watched enough baseball.
But you have to hit at one point. At one point, I mean, yes, if you get in the playoffs and you have 5 good pitchers, you can really make a run. But at one point, you still got to put runs on the board to win these things. So
it just reminds me of, like, I think there's a lot of fan base that always got frustrated with Pete Carroll. I talked to in the Divish episode, we talked about this a little bit. In the Daily Puck Drop today, I talked about this, is that, it always felt like the Seahawks would play a brand of football that was like, we are not going to score in like the first 3 quarters. We will wait to play offensive football until the very end. We'll hand the keys over to Russell and we'll let him do his thing. And the Mariners are kind of fit that script, right? They don't do anything for the first 6 innings. They never do anything against the starter. And then they get in, and then the goal is to get the starter out, and let's get into their bullpen, and then we'll start becoming this offense we can become.
We'll play chaos ball. But, when you look back and you said, ownership going on the cheap, I mean, personally going into spring training, Puck, I thought, and maybe I was wrong on this, and obviously right now I am wrong, but I thought Jorge Polanco and Mitch Garver were two great pickups. I mean, I thought these were two guys that could help this team offensively, and obviously I was wrong there. But, I don't know why neither of these two guys could step up. I think there was so much hype about Ty France and J.P. Crawford and Driveline and these guys. I mean, I think everybody thought they were going to be batting 300 and Julio Rodriguez and, his offseason. But,
Can we get money? Can Ty get money back from Driveline? How does that go?
Hey, Driveline, this is a Ty. I'd like to get a refund on everything that I spent.
Because it's the funny thing, and I'm not taking a knock at Driveline. I'm just saying that we always hear all these success stories. You always hear the success stories of Driveline, right? There are a lot of guys that go to Driveline that don't have success.
Yeah.
It's not the cure-all for everyone. And for Ty,
and we did make it. And
listen, I don't know why they.
And we talked about a lot.
I don't get it. I mean, he's a nice guy and all of it, and we just interviewed him, but I wonder.
You got a kid down in Tacoma now. You got a kid in Tacoma. We'll see what Locklear does. I mean, he could be the future over there.
Okay, you were out there. Did you go to the Kraken press conference to hear Bilesma?
I did not, because I was in the midst of doing 14 hits on King 5 TV. But they cut Paul Sylvie's vacation short one day, so he was out there for it. So, and this is a guy, honestly, Puck. A week ago, we did a story with him as he was firing up his Coachella Valley team, and it was a great interview. It was him down in Coachella Valley getting ready for the next series, and when I watched that interview back, this is a guy kind of reminds me, and you didn't see it at the press conference, but I'll address that in a second, but reminds me a lot of a Pete Carroll with a lot of energy, loves to work with young kids. And who do you have in the mix over there with the Kraken now? You have Lewicki, who wants a guy, I'm sure, that has some energy, that can not only coach the hockey team, not only help develop these young guys, but can also get involved with the community. And I think that's key with this Kraken team. I think that they're still, we have to remember, this is a very young franchise. And there's a lot of people, they've got to sell season tickets, and they've got to reach, and they've got to grow their fan base. I mean, they really do. And I think this is a guy that's going to come in, develop players. He understands how to coach. Obviously, he did that with Pittsburgh. He's doing that with Coachella Valley. They've got a great atmosphere down there. But I think he's going to get involved a little bit more with the community. And I think some people look at that press conference and, gosh, maybe he wasn't as energetic, Chris, as you said he was supposed to be. Well, let's be honest. This is a guy that's coaching a team in Coachella Valley. They fly him up to Seattle. I bet he didn't sleep at all. Does the press conference, does one-on-one interviews with just about everybody. And in his mind, he's a coach. So in his mind, he's worried about his Coachella Valley team in the playoffs. So he's focused on getting back down there. So I just think the guy, it was an awesome announcement. It was great to have him out there. But I think what we saw on stage in the one-on-ones is not the energy we'll see when the season starts. Because I bet this guy came in and didn't have 1 hour of sleep, But I'm excited about it.
You think he ultimately regrets taking the job because he's like, I'm coaching a team in the winter and I'm down here in Palm Springs and it's bleeping awesome. And then now I got to go coach a team that in the winter it sucks.
Oh, it's not.
Quality of life is a big thing, Egan. And I'm telling you, if they would have come to me and said, hey, it's like the scene out of a major league. Hey, it's Charlie here from the Indians. How would you like to coach? How would you like to coach the Indians? I don't know, Charlie. A chance to coach in the big league. I got a guy on the other line about some white wolves. I think if I'm Bilesma, I'm like taking that phone call from Lewicki going, shoot. Todd, I don't know, man. I'm outside right now.
I'm at my pool.
I'm in my feet are in the pool right now. I'm looking at some game tape here. I'm going to play a quick whiskey 9 here in a little bit. And what's it up there right now? Well, it's 47 and raining. Yeah, shoot. I just don't think the timing's right. I kind of want to see this Firebirds thing through.
Well, you know what? I even said that on Monday when the first report came out that he was taking the job. I even said in one of my scripts, I said it must be a pretty good offer for him to leave Coachella Valley because yes, he's living pretty high on high down there on this one right now. So he's doing a great job. But I think it's a good move I think it's a great move for the Kraken. Like I said, I think they have to build their fan base. They need a coach that's going to get involved with the community and just kind of fire people up. And it kind of reminds me a little bit of what Pete Carroll did when he took over with the Seahawks. So
well, if he comes out on the ice at the Kraken complex with 2 football gloves on, some white monarch skates, he's really taking it to a whole nother level. Hey, not a laughing matter, an important matter. May is mental health month, so it's wrapping up, and I'm sure you obviously saw the story and followed it probably to a degree, but the Grayson Murray story coming out of the PGA, I mean, just heartbreaking. It's someone who had been struggling with mental health, struggling with alcohol abuse, just 30 years of age. He walks off the golf course and quits at 16. And then later we find out that he kills himself inside his hotel room or wherever he was staying. And it's hard for these guys. Like you think when they're professional athletes or musicians or actors, comedians, whoever, that when they're in the spotlight, they've made it, right? They're part of this 1% crowd of success. But at the same time, beneath the surface is just a dark despair of depression and bad feelings and bad emotions. It's hard.
In the last year, Puck, I have sat down with parents whose son was a great baseball player, high school baseball player, that committed suicide, and that was probably
the young man from Stillicum.
Yeah, it was probably the toughest interview I've ever had to do. I lost a brother through alcohol addiction, not suicide, but battled with alcohol for a while. So that's why the Grayson story was hit me a little harder. Seeing that, just what people are going through a lot. I sat down with a UW softball player, Brooke Nelson, blonde hair, pitcher, Gatorade Player of the Year. Just thinking that life is just perfect for her, and she opened up about getting into college and struggles with, she wasn't as good as she wasn't as good as she thought, and suicidal thoughts, and things like that. And how, this girl's battling with it. I recently sat down with a gal by the name of Nevin Harrison from Roosevelt High School, U.S. kayak and canoe team, won a gold medal in Tokyo. And she kind of really, and this is a story we ran, and she'll be in the Olympics in Paris as well, trying to defend her gold medal. And she talked about, she won a gold medal and she thought life was going to be just great. And she's like, and it wasn't. It was even harder because, you win these things and you train and you work so hard and nobody sees all this work you're putting in and you're by yourself and it's a lonely thing. And she wants it, to be clear out there. And Brooke said the same thing. If we can just tell these young kids it's okay not to be okay. And Nevin said, you know what? I have bad practices. There's days where I'm in the water and I say, I don't want to do this crap. There's days where I don't look good. There's days, and we live in such a social media world where everybody's posting these. You and I don't always look very good, I'll tell you that, Puck. But there's a lot of people. All they do is post these pictures of themselves looking great, and life, and there's no troubles out there. And Nevin said, that's such BS. I want people to know that, it's okay to look bad some days. It's okay to screw up at practices because that's what life is. And then Katrina Young. She's a diver from Shoreline. She's trying to make her third Olympic team. And she said this, she's been to 2 Olympics in Rio and Tokyo, did not medal at either of them. And she said, I'm battling mental issues when I get up on the stand. I make the Olympics, but it's just, am I good enough? And you know what? She said as she's trying to make her third Olympic teams, you have to take care of yourself. And I thought this was a really good thing, was like, we live in this world where we're trying to appease everybody else. We're trying to make everybody think that we're great. We're trying to help everybody. And she said, you know what? Number one, Chris, you've got to take care of yourself. You need to self-love yourself And every day, yes, I'm doing great, I'm doing good, and it's easier said than done. But she says it's so hard for these young athletes now because there's so much pressure. Parents are putting so much money into their sports, and they feel like they've got to make these teams or they got to do this and this and that. I mean, Piper Inge from Mercer Island High School, probably the best swimmer in the state of Washington. She's going to be going to the Olympic trials for swimming. Only the top 2, Puckett, from the U.S. will go. Top 2 from each event will go to the Olympics. I said, Piper, what's it going to be like before you get out there and you swim? It's going to be at Lucas Oil Field, by the way, Puck. They're going to the U.S. Olympic swim trials are going to be at a football stadium. She goes, Chris, the girls in the back room, half of them will be throwing up. 3 of them will be green. The other ones will be just freaking out. We're all like, it comes down to making the Olympics by a fingernail. And so the pressure that is put on these young kids is absolutely amazing. And it's hard, but I think it's okay that we keep talking about this because I think for so long, nobody wanted to talk about it. Everybody wants to just think that, hey, I'm perfect. I don't make mistakes. And that's this mentality, like you've got to be perfect if you're going to be good. Well, it's, from all these people I talk to, no, you know what? Nobody's perfect. And it's okay to not be okay. Yeah. And it's okay to talk about this stuff. It's okay. It's not a weakness. It's actually a strength to let people know that. So, and I think that's the key that I get out of all this is that, it seems simple to say it's okay not to be okay, but a lot of people just don't like to think that.
It's hard. It's hard because, you live in a world where it's, everything that you post on social media looks like it's, oh, my God, that's the perfect family.
Yeah.
That's the perfect son. That's the perfect daughter. They've got the perfect life, and no one does.
Yeah.
A lot of times the people that post those things are right. A lot of times the most depressed, right? And
yeah.
So...
Well, and I saw a post earlier this week. I mean, all these people now, it's award season, it's graduation season. And I think I saw one mom post something like, you know what? I'm proud of my son and his C average. I'm proud of him that he's able to graduate. He went through a lot, through the COVID years, and you know what?
He's average. Should really be proud of his C average.
Well, they were basically their point was, you know what? He didn't win an award. He wasn't, he wasn't a 5 varsity letter athlete, but she was just proud he made it through. And I agree. It's just every person's going through their own battle, and I think that's the other thing I'll say is that.
And we're happy to announce that he's going to Kearney School. He got a
well, as Frosty would say, make the big time where you're at. So if you're going to Kearney School, make the big time there.
That'd be great if you could go to Kearney School.
But you just don't, when we run into so many people every day and you don't know what they're going through. So in the end, be humble, be kind, and love them all. So,
well said.
I think that's what you got to do out there. So
is it a let's end on this. Is it a big weekend? Isn't it the Emmys this weekend on Saturday?
We got the Emmys on Saturday. The wife has 7 dress options. As soon as we're done taping Puck, I'm going to sit down with my Coke and watch the wife kind of, which dress are we going to pick
she's
out?
Going to put it on for you?
You just got 7 different, 7 different dresses.
The kids home or?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think she's got a couple black dresses, a couple green ones, and a hot pink one. And Puck, I made the mistake. We had an event, and the wife I thought looked absolutely gorgeous. And I said, Mel, this dress is perfect. I mean, why don't you wear this one to the Emmys? And it was the look of like, you don't wear a dress twice.
Yeah, but you'll wear your same black suit.
I'm gonna go same black suit. Yeah. Just keep it,
keep it simple.
Keep black tie, black suit.
Yeah, slimming.
And I'm hoping Puck out of all of them, up for 5, and could win none. I'm hopeful that possibly we were able to win one if possible. I'm up for it for our Mariners coverage, and Alan Reed is on the Emmy entry, our photographer that passed away a couple months ago. Nothing would be better for me than to hand that Emmy to his sister, if possible. But you know what? Whatever happens. But it'd be a nice little tribute to his sister if that one won, and that's all I would really care about. But
that'd be very cool.
Yeah, that would be cool, and it's a fun night. It really is. The media folks. We'll be down there in the in your neck of the woods in Ballard, so maybe we'll let you know where the after party's
is
at.
Is it at the Fremont Studios?
Fremont Studios.
This is tomorrow, Saturday night?
Saturday night, yes.
Where's the after? Well, text me the after party.
I will give you all the There's a pre-party. There's an after party.
Where's the after party? You know where it's at already?
Don't know where the after party is yet.
Let me know.
So
5 minutes away.
And Joyce Taylor told me to bring my own bottle of wine. I'm like, I think they got wine at the table. She's like, that's never enough. So we'll be
not enough for that lush.
So we'll be having some fun, and I'll text you where the after party is, so you can make sure.
Please do. Would love to see. All right, great stuff, Chris. Every Friday, Chris Egan, Fat Zach's Pizza, 3 locations. Go check them out. Voted best pizza in the South Sound. 2 years in a row. It's going to be 3, folks.
Yeah, it will be.
Find them on Facebook, Instagram, and check out their website, fatzackspizza.com. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you next Friday.
See you, buddy.